Hey everybody, it's Jim here, and today we're going to be exploring some of the differences and some of the similarities between a semi-hollow body guitar and a fully hollow body guitar. And the examples that we're going to be using are this Gibson ES-339 and this PRS Hollowbody 2. And one thing I would like to establish before we go any further with this video, this is not a guitar-to-guitar comparison as far as these two shooting each other out in a traditional sense like you might see in other videos like on my channel or on other channels. More so of just kind of observing the little differences between them. Now, let's start with the PRS. Inside of this, it is fully hollow. As the name implies, just like an acoustic guitar, it is extremely lightweight. This guitar weighs in at 4 pounds 10 ounces. It's the first guitar that's electric that I've ever played that made me feel like my ES-339 was a bit heavier. And this is my Gibson ES-339 semi-hollow body guitar. This differs from the PRS in that there's a center block underneath this top that goes throughout the center of the body, as the name kind of alludes to. The bridge actually mounts into that piece of wood, and what that'll do is it'll prevent against the guitar feeding back under higher gain circumstances, which can be perceived as a weakness. It's just kind of an inherent design thing when it comes to the hollow body guitars. This particular instrument weighs 6 pounds 12 ounces. Now, if you're scratching your head asking yourself, why is there a Stratocaster in your hand now? It's because for this next sound example, we're going to be testing the acoustic properties of these instruments, and this is one of the most common solid bodies, so I want to kind of give a baseline for the volume differences between the three models. We'll start with the Strat. Now, as expected, those three guitars sound very different acoustically. However, we do not buy electric guitars to play them acoustically. Well, 99% of the time we don't do that. So without further ado, let's get into some sound examples. We're going to be using the Neural DSP Quad Cortex, all of the same settings for each of these guitars in the pickup locations, and see how they compare that way. now that we've heard what they sound like, leave a comment down below with which one you thought sounded better and why. Now, I know at the beginning of this video I did say I wasn't using this as a way to compare these two specific guitars. However, I did just want to point out a few things that I like about each one. Starting with the PRS, the fact that you can get a guitar body this small that's hollow is a marvel in itself. Hollow bodies traditionally, when they were first built, used to be really big, and the fact that they've made this such a slimmed down version of it, this feels so comfortable, it feels so familiar. It stays in tune much better than the Gibson does, and that's due to the string angle being straight compared to the Gibsons where they kind of push out a little bit. Acoustically, it sounds like a dream. I think that this guitar definitely could appeal to a lot of people, although obviously I wouldn't recommend it for anybody playing in a much higher gain environment unless you're going to be using noise gates and stuff like that, and then at that point, what is the point? Now, I'd like to apologize in advance if you are a regular of this channel because you already know what I'm going to say about the Gibson. However, in the event that you are somebody who has never seen any of my other videos, this guitar is the perfect compromise between a 335 and a Les Paul for me. It really cleans up well enough where I like how it records clean. However, it does do gain, and it does do gain a lot better and more manageably than the Hollowbody does. I didn't really include high gain in this test because I just didn't feel like it was applicable, and you kind of lose a lot of the natural resonance and the natural tonalities of these guitars the more gain you throw at them. However, a lot of the music that I do play does require a little bit more edge to it, so in that category, I definitely would prefer this guitar over a fully hollow body instrument. So my final thoughts here are, this was my first hands-on experience for a prolonged amount of time with a hollow body guitar ever. I had just never felt the urge to buy one. This belongs to one of my friends that I've known since I was a kid. He dropped it off to me so that I could do a pickup swap for him, and if you know anything about hollow body guitars and pickups or semi-hollow body guitars and pickups, it's not exactly a beginner's job, so I'm going to be taking care of that for him. I figured while I had it in though, it would be interesting to do the comparison in a similar style that I did the 335 versus this guy in the past. So I think both are great guitars, you can't go wrong. If you can't afford this guy, because this is not cheap, I think new these start at about $5,000. You can get one of the SE versions for, a little bit over $1,000 used. It's not a terrible deal. Or, one of these guys, 2,000 bucks new, roughly, give or take, if they're in stock. If you like this video, please leave a like. I really do appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't already, and leave me a comment. Like I said, let me know which one you like better, or if you learned anything. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I will see you tomorrow for another guitar-related video. Take it easy, guys.